Let me introduce to our today's sponsor. This review unit was sent to me by Blisstyle Electronics, who specializes on bringing affordable PC products to the general consumers of all categories of Bangladesh. They have different types of PC components of both low and high-end PC parts and peripherals for gamers and PC enthusiasts of all classes. Today's Thunderobot pink and milk tea switches were also sent to me by them. You can grab these very affordable switches for 20 taka per piece from them. So why not have a look at their website and grab something for you. Now onto the video. Now let's get introduced to today's switches. The switch you see here is from Thunderobot, which might not be a familiar name to you all, but is a quite popular PC brand in China and does make some pretty good stuffs, and also they are the sub-brand of the famous appliance brand named Hair. The switches from them also doesn't disappoint, which you will find out eventually. So let's start with the switches. The switch I have here is the Thunderobot pink switch. A linear switch with around 55 grams of actuation force and the travel distance of around 2 mm of trigger and total of 4 mm of actuation. They are medium heavy linear switch with not so premium feel but with a premium sound, which you will find out later. They also have 𝐁𝐫𝐚𝐧𝐜 housing, which makes them quite hard to open, but the spring of it makes the switch very bouncy and soft to type on. Now let's start the disassembly of the switch. The top housing of the switch is made out of very usual material as polycarbonate, which has Thunderobot logo on the top. Because of being a transparent PC housing, the RGB will have easier time passing through it. Also, this type of housing usually gives a clacky sound profile, and the side rails has no lube on them whatsoever. And then there comes the stem. The stem is made out of palm and has slight lube on them, which can be felt while touching it. The stem makes the switch surprisingly smooth, and being a short pole helps it to have heavier characteristics with longer actuation distance. And then there's the spring, which is very short of 14 mm and is a dense one. Being dense helps it to achieve heavier actuation force and maintaining the comfort to type on. And this is a standard stainless steel spring. Lastly, the bottom housing, which actually makes the switch feel less premium with the build quality. It is less hollow than the typical switches, making the switch have more of a clacky sound profile. The bottom housing is made out of PC materials with black color painted on top, and the housing has no lube on them. But having less lube on the switch, even though might not be helpful, the switches are pretty smooth and comfortable and fun to type on while having a clacky sound profile. And now here's some sound test comparison. Now let's talk about the Thunderobot milk tea switches. They are the medium heavy tactile with all the similar specs as the pink switch, but with a tactile bump and has slightly more actuation distance and a bit more force of exact 55 grams. They also has the 𝐁𝐫𝐚𝐧𝐜 housing and is short pole. And here we see the wobble test. The wobble of the switch housing is same as the pink switch for it being a 3-pin switch, but it has less of a stem wobble. And for the disassembly, the entirety of the switch build is as same as the pink switch. The top housing is made out of PC material with no lube on the side rails and has proper RGB pass-through. The stem is made out of palm but has a tactile bump, hence making it have a bit more resistance, and it also has slight lube on the stem and is a short pole. And the spring is as usual the 14 mm in length and is dense, which helps it to have a heavier actuation force while pressing the switch. Lastly, the bottom housing is made out of PC material with black color coating, making it a clacky sound profile and has no lube inside. Overall, both of the switches, even though doesn't seem much of anything being charming, they somehow get a hold of themselves and provides a very satisfying typing experience with a softer clacky sound profile. I overall enjoyed the switch and encourage you guys also to try it out. And now here's the sound test comparison and typing test later on.